Well, it has been quite some time since produced an episode. That's because we have been dealing with so many just fine details, little things that had to be done. Most of them were minor. They weren't necessarily video worthy, just things, common construction things. But I'm going to show where the progress is now. Insulation. So here, from the doorway of the theater, is where we are right now. Alright, so this is the doorway. See the insulation, so you walk here. This is about 5 or 6 feet in width. This will be the actual entry door. And double doors, communicating doors. The inside door will open this way. This door will open this way. And so we got the insulation up as well. Well, most of it. That's there because we're waiting for the drywall to come in. So that's not going to be finished until drywall comes in. So we have the faced insulation anywhere that there is concrete on the walls, and unfaced wherever there is not concrete on the walls.
We put this box extended out the thickness of 3 layers of 5/8, which is 15/8 or almost 2 inches, 1 7/8. So it's already in position. The wires are stuck in the box. I'm going to make this a little bit easier to work with by slicing pad. Then you peel off the backing. Like so. And you can see that this is where the stud is. So the drywall is going to come right to there. So we want to put a line of the putty pad right where the drywall is going to fit, like here. So we go down and around and come up here at the bottom. And I'm going to get some more. And I'm just going to cut a strip of it. Oops. Mold it around the wires here. Get it tight to the stud. And that's a putty pad.
There we go. There you go. Align with the stud.
Alright, when we put these clips up, we could spend a lot of time and get out a laser level and put all these lines on here. I found the quickest method is to create a stick. I don't know, I think they call it a storyboard or something else. I call it the Clip-O-Matic 2000. We got all the lines of where the channel spacing is supposed to go. And so we just went around the room and mounted the clips at these lines. It'll work as long as the floor is reasonably level. If you've got a lot of unevenness in the floor, you probably do need to get out the laser or the chalk line or something. But this is going to work fine in this room. It's a new floor and it's reasonably level. And then we had to make a second one for under the soffit, because the soffit on the other side of the room drops down, and this one fits right under the soffit.
There you
So
go.
to keep these two sticks. Now, when it comes to hang the drywall, people are always saying, well, where's the channel? Where's the channel for putting the screws in? You just stand this on the floor when you're drilling in your screws, and you've got all of the marks
There we
for
go.
putting the screws into the channel. No problem.
We are getting ready to put up channel on this wall, so the
All
master, Mr. Parkinson, is going to show us how.
Alright, this is a 12-foot 25 gauge channel. Make sure they give you 25 gauge. You could tell it's 25 gauge because you could easily compress it with your hand. If it's 22 gauge, 20 gauge, you can't really compress it, and it won't slide as well in the clips. It won't have the same isolation value. Alright, so we're going to put up the first thing, and when we plan the clips, we have to plan the corners. And what we did is we left one stud off the corner so that we can put this channel up totally in the corner, and the next one we'll be able to put up close to it. If you have two studs that are at right angles right in the corner, the clips in the channel won't fit. You have to have a stud off the corner. So you put it resting on the bottom parts of the clips, and it's real simple. Just pull down and it'll go right in the clip. Be sure that these are anchored on both the top and the bottom to support the weight. When you have a break, you want to make sure the break is not directly close to a clip, because what we're going to end up doing is putting another section overlapping about a foot from here to here, and we'll screw it together. You do not want the double layer overlap inside a clip, because again it won't function as well in terms of the isolation value. It won't slip as much in the clip. Now we put one up, and you can see that it doesn't do the whole wall. The next one we're going to stagger, because we don't want all of these seams lining up in the same place. We kind of like to stagger them on the wall. And so here's another channel, and we'll start on this side. Let's see where we are. Yeah, you want to keep it back a little bit from the edge so that when we cut the drywall flush with the framing, we don't hit the metal. Again, check to make sure they're all snapped in. And again, check to make sure that it's not going to fall in a clip. The overlap is not going to fall in a clip. That's good to go.
Today is drywall day, so I'm just gonna walk around the room, do a final walkthrough before drywall commences. Let us watch. It's the communicating doors. Door 1, door 2. I'm gonna go around the room clockwise. Right here, left front section of the room along with the corresponding soffit. This noise dampening compound on it. It's very effective. In front of the room, note the joints where the channels connect. They're connected with self-tapping screws into the corners for a much stronger hold than if they were put straight back. So this is the front wall. approaching the right wall. I'm going around. I'll also note certain locations, for instance, speaker locations. Here, this is where the wide speaker goes. The wide speaker goes 3 inches this way from this locations, and that's also the locations of the ceiling channels are marked on the ground so that we know exactly where they are. You see, so we have that going all the way down. They're all marked. Okay, left wall still. There we go. This is above the doorway. Left wall, the rear wall above the doorway. Actually, this speaker, it was marked in both places, 1/2 inch back from this stud. There's actually a speaker 19 1/4 inches anyway, so it's gonna be on this door. Back wall. Speaker right here, smack dab right here, right where this stud goes. Speaker. Here's the rear left soffit. Rear wall. There's a speaker that is 9 inches this way. All these measurements are where the tweeter is supposed to go. Right. Leading up to the entry door. Then we have a speaker that is 1 5/8 inches this way. That's where the tweeter goes. Let's take a look at the ceiling with the wall to make sure we keep some perspective. This is where the electrical wires run in relation to that door. 720 amp circuits. This is where the plywood is for the mounting of the projector. Okay. Here in the equipment room. This is going to be clockwise as well. We have the, I'm not sure where the front is. The equipment will be against this wall, so I guess that's the front. So this is the left wall. And that is the front wall. Let us note where things come in. This is the return. Those are the power cables. Those are the speaker cables which come down and which will come through on some drywall towards the bottom. This is a backer box which has acoustical caulk, green glue brand acoustical caulk around it. This is this conduit takes the video cables to the projector, and here we just follow the cable, speaker and power to where they come into the room itself. itself. That is for lighting. This is the left wall, the right wall, sorry. And this is the rear wall. Let's take a look at the ceiling. That's the supply. Alright, so we have the ceiling chronicled. Okay. Next time you see this, there'll be drywall all over it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have drywall. Let's take a look. That's the entry wires. This is all triple layer. Everything you see here, triple layering green glue on the sump pump side, so in case the sump pump runs, stops the sound from getting in. First door, the communicating door system. There's a gap. The walls are actually this thick. Studs, triple layers. Studs, triple layers. Over here as well. Second door. And this is the drywalled room. So you have the soffit over here. And we're going to build a matching soffit over here. Everything is 3 layers on clips and channel in this room, including the soffit. See, even the soffit is clipped and channel because there's duct work inside there. So this is that door is to the furnace HVAC behind the theater. This is the equipment room door, a solid core door, and this is also soundproof. Triple layers, clips and channel only on the ceiling in this room since it's only an equipment room. So we have a wired over there, 7 20 amp circuits over there with the 7th circuit going along the room to match with code. So we just have those wires run for the placement. There's a one sprinkler up there. We're gonna build a soffit attached to the clips. You know, we didn't want to frame. We didn't want to frame it out and then drywall over it with clips and channel because it's better to build a decoupled soffit in here because it's a small soffit that needs to be built. So that's what's coming next. Here we have a wire run for the lighting. The lighting is going to be track lighting going around the room. And then over here is going to be some type of computer workstation or something like that. So I mean, this room, the equipment room is going to be very functional. The equipment is going to be on this wall, and then on this wall will be the computer, ripping station, things like that. And so here we have the theater. This is the theater room. This is the left side of the theater. About 28 feet long. That's the front of the theater. Now before drywall it was 17.2. After drywall it's probably just under 17 feet wide. So we're probably looking at maybe 16.11, something along those lines. And the circuits run along the wall, all around. So and because there are going to be treatments on the actual walls themselves, the wires are run like this because the outlets are going to be surface mounted. You know, it's better to have just a small wire coming in than to have a whole box cut out for the outlets. So they'll all be surface mounted. Here, this is going to be for lighting control. This is going to be for the track lighting. And also, this is one wire. There's another wire over here that will also be for like the LED rope lights. Did I say track lighting? No, rope lights. And because the way it's going to be, they're going to be a series of vertical panels, very similar actually to the drywall you see. Actually, it's vertical panels, and between each vertical panel There's gonna be LED rope lighting that's gonna separate the panels, going all the way around the room. Alrighty. So this is the theater that it has taken so long to get to drywall. This is triple layer drywall with green glue on clips and channel all around, and with noise isolation. And this is the equipment room right here. For all my equipment needs. There we go. Alrighty. So here we have it. You know, I cannot explain how exciting this is. Only people who have actually been through it, which there are quite a few, on AVS at least, you know, quite a few understand what it's like, but this is just an absolutely exhilarating experience. And I'm very happy to be a part of it. So now we start building inside the room. And I have most of the equipment already. I have the speakers. I just need subwoofers and a projector. That's it. So we're well on our way. So Brolic Beast out.